This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.
Welcome to the Life in Football podcast, baby. I'm your host, Mike Feed.
And this your Cole and Moore. You know, we loving life and enjoying football.
Hey, we finna celebrate today because this is an amazing event that is held in football that everybody has heard of if you follow the game of football. Now, as the Life in Football brand continue to grow, I know we might have some listeners who may not understand what I'm talking about right now. So let me give y'all a little insight. The Senior Bowl is a college football all-star game, basically, but it's the top one. It's the big dog, like that man used to say in the Rose Bowl game. It's the granddaddy of them all. Now, the Senior Bowl, any college football player that may play college football, or I'm talking about they could even be playing junior college. Everybody want a chance to go play in that Reese Senior Bowl, baby. I'm telling you. And we had some other all-star games on, from the Hula Bowl to somebody who was a part of the East Red Shrine. But now today we got the top dog on today, baby. He's the executive director. He goes by the name of Jim Nagy. And he's the king right now. I'm talking about the king of college football all-star game. Now, this guy, he comes with a lot of accolades, a lot of years in the NFL. He's been up on the Bill Belichick, who's won Super Bowl. Pete Carroll, who's won Super Bowls and college national championships. And he's been a part of the NFL for years. So this why he's such a shining light for this senior all-star game, because he has so much experience and knowledge to give that anybody who wants to start an all-star game, this the person you need to go get, baby. And I love how he's on social media and he's very active, man. I'm talking about every time look like I turn on Twitter, it's like he got something he posted or liking. So I just love the fact that we got him on. But without further ado, Mo, bring him on.
How you doing, Mr. Nagy?
I'm doing good, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's a blessing to have you on, too. I got to jump right out the gate for you now. You dropped that top 250, and I'm like, okay, I love it. The moment seemed like after that, every university made sure that they showed everybody they are part of the top 250. Did you know it was gonna happen like that, or did that excite you the way it came back, the feedback?
Yeah, that was pretty cool last Thursday, and even some schools have posted the last couple of days. Florida and Georgia got in. No, it was great. You know, we you talked about me being on social media. The only reason we're doing that is to connect with these players, right? I mean, there's a recruiting aspect to this job that a lot of people aren't aware of. So you got to connect with these guys. They all live on their phones. I've got a high school son, and he's definitely on his phone more than I wish he was, and I'm probably on my phone more than my wife wishes I was. But no, we use it to connect with the guys and for the schools to come out and make all the graphics they did, and pretty cool stuff. Some great graphic designers out there, man. It's they do an awesome job, and so just to see the traction that it got last week, in support of the game, it was big time.
Yeah, it was amazing, Mr. Nagy. I loved it. Every time I seen them repost, I'm like, this is big. Like I knew it was big, but when I seen it, I knew it was 10 times bigger than I could even think it was gonna be. Now, what I do want to know, and I know a lot of listeners will want to know, is when you started out, did you ever dream that you would be at this position? And I know you probably got even bigger dreams, but did you ever dream that it would get to you this spot right here?
No, definitely not. No, the dream as a kid was, just getting in the NFL and becoming a scout. So that was, that was the dream, was to get the foot in the door and do that. And then, the ultimate goal is to become a general manager someday. But I'm loving this job. This has been a great opportunity for me. My family, we've been in Mobile, Alabama we'd been in Mobile for like 12 or 13 years when this job came open. And, I called our GM in Seattle, John Schneider, and talked to him about it. And I said, I might not be their guy, but can I take a shot at this thing? So we did, and John helped me out and had a lot of support in the league. A lot of guys call on my behalf. And it's been a great family decision for us. Like I said, my son's in high school. He's playing high school football. I got a young daughter. And when you're on the road scouting, you miss a lot of things, man. You're on the road 200 nights a year, and it's just not real conducive to quality family time. So this job has allowed me to stay put where I am and still do what I love to do, which is evaluate players. And it's a different job. It's not an NFL job because there's a lot to this. It's a lot more than just evaluating guys. I mean, you got to promote the game, and which the social media part shows. So you wear a lot of different hats. So it has been good just developing some different skill sets. Now I've I've definitely learned under fire in some areas the last couple of years. Been drinking out of the fire hose, if you will, at different times. But had a lot of good people around me here in Mobile helping me out, and it's been a great experience.
Hey, Jim, now, if you could, give us a little background information on how it was for you growing up and who played an important role in you to become the person that you are today, and how did you become involved in the game of football?
Yeah, from starting off as a real little guy. My dad was a high school football coach, so some of my earliest memories were just hanging out at practice during August and falling, taking naps on the dummies and kicking footballs around the field when I was a real little guy. So yeah, just at a really young age, fell in love with the sport, and never got bit by that coaching bug. I've said that before. Something about the team building aspect of it really. Just that's what really grabbed me. And I got to give in a roundabout way, I give Mel Kiper a lot of credit. Mel takes some heat from people in the league, and some fans, but if you're a fan of the NFL draft, you got to tip your hat to Mel Kiper, because he built the draft into what it is today. So some of my earliest memories are sitting around watching the draft as a kid, and my team was the Detroit Lions. And I remember just like writing down the players I would have picked when they picked. And I got notebooks with all that stuff in it from when I was like 6 and 7 years old. So, and now growing up and having the, being blessed enough to work alongside Mel at ESPN, I realized what an awesome guy he is. I mean, he's really, really, behind the scenes when you get to know him, he's really a genuine guy, and really a classy guy. And so that's been fun, but no. And then, just growing up, loving football, played in high school, had some opportunities to play small school football. And, but I always really just wanted to go to the University of Michigan. So, wasn't good enough to play there, not nearly good enough to play there. But went there, worked in the athletic department for a couple of years, worked with the football team some. And then back in the day, in 1996, your only foot in the door in the NFL was through the public relations department. So I got a PR internship in Green Bay with the Packers. Got really lucky. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl. And I've said this: that staff had 5 future GMs on it, and a couple of them, Reggie McKenzie and John Schneider, were on the pro side of things. So they were in house every day, and they had an office upstairs. So I would go bother those guys when I broke free from my PR duties for the day. And they were great enough to, let me just sit around and pick their brain and, learn through observation, if you will. And so, no, made a lot of good connections there. And then just kind of, when John Schneider got his first job in Washington, where he could put his staff together, he hired me to scout the West Coast. And so I'll always be indebted to John. He's an awesome friend. Consider him one of my best friends. And again, just once you get in anything, it's any walk of life, right? You're lucky enough to get your foot in the door. You meet the right people, you kick it in, you just work hard. And hard work can make up for a lot of mistakes, and just worked hard over the years. And here I am now. So it's been a cool journey. I've learned a lot of lessons, grown a lot over the years, and it's brought me to this job. So now I'm just doing everything I can in this role to make this game the best thing it can possibly be.
All right. If you could give all the players some things that they need to or should focus on to help them to be able to play in a game like the Senior Bowl, because it's a dream now. It's a dream for all the college football players to play in that Senior Bowl. So I don't know if it's far as from the scouting part or department, like maybe even the rankings, or should they even just send film to you? Let us know how that works.
No, we get all the film. We get all the film from the NFL, just like all the 32 teams do. So we're fortunate that way. We start off and we watch every FBS level player. We've done that. We've already evaluated over 900 guys. For some of the smaller school guys, we rely on our NFL contacts quite a bit. They'll send their combine scouts out in the spring before the guy's senior year, and they'll measure those guys and many times get 40 times on those guys, and they'll uncover some prospects that way, and then they'll give us a heads up, and then we'll do a lot of digging on our ends too. We've got a lot of contacts at the small school level, a lot of coaches, so we're good on the tape part. But again, the only advice I would give, because it's different for every position, is just listen to your coaches and play hard. Put in the work. Nothing's a substitute for hard work. You never want to leave. You never want to graduate and get done with, exhaust your eligibility and feel like you have any regrets. I think the worst thing in life is to get to a point where you regret something. So my advice is always to live without any regrets and just play hard, man. Like, it sounds crazy, but the guys that really play hard and really, strain and exhaust themselves, regardless of position, those guys stand out on tape. They really do. I mean, you would think maybe all guys played hard, but there's certain guys you just put in, you can't help but recognize them. I mean, I always tell guys, like, I should be able to put on the tape and not even know who I'm looking at, or, don't even have a list in front of me of who to look at, but your effort should make you pop out on tape. And that's happened a bunch of times over the summer watching this year's class. Guys just declare themselves with their effort. So, run to the football, chase, sell out, throw your body around. I mean, it's a physical game. It's a violent game, and just show up with your effort. I guess that's the best advice I could give.
Mr. Nagy, you hit on two things, and it's pretty much God lined your stuff up from the jump. He gave you a gift. You say you were scouting for the Detroit as a kid. You talking about players you would have picked as a kid. Then on top of that, you're in Mobile for 12 to 13 years already, and it's all seemed like it lined up. It's like it was picture perfect.
Yeah, it definitely fortunate, man. Definitely fortunate. It did all line up. I mean, this game could have been in any other city, and it just wouldn't have worked. I mean, I wouldn't have left the NFL, especially the situation I was in Seattle. That was an incredible organization to work for. They treated scouts great. John was a great boss. Coach Carroll was great to work for. I mean, it's an incredible chemistry up there and a great place to work. They took care of us great. So it really had to be the right situation for me to make that jump. And this was it. And again, we kept the family. My kids have grown up in one place their whole lives. They've been in the same schools their whole lives. And when you work in football, that's pretty rare. And I know how blessed we are to have that. When there's a lot of turnover in football. It's a very, there's you cycle through a lot of different jobs when you're in football. There's just some volatility to it, whether you're on the coaching side or the scouting side. So you got, one of the downsides of that is you're uprooting your family quite a bit. I've had a lot of friends bounce around. So we're lucky. We're lucky the game was here and it all lined up, and now I'm just trying to work hard and take advantage of it.
Now, how are you going to do with how this COVID is like brushing into the fall, and how are y'all preparing for that for January?
Yeah, all we can do is work with the information that we have. And unfortunately for those Big Ten guys and the Pac-12 guys and MAC and Mountain West and, the FCS level guys, I mean, we can only do what we have, and that's the 2019 tape. So, we studied that a ton over the summer and going all the way back to last February. We took about 2 weeks after our game kind of reset the batteries and got rolling on this year's class. So we'll go back to 2018 in some instances and try to get, a 2-year spread on these players on tape. Again, we're never going to be able to account for the guys that rise up and have a great senior year. Theoretically, every single one of these guys should have gotten bigger, faster, stronger in the last 12 months. I mean, if they're putting in the work. So there's going to be guys that would have had an opportunity. Maybe they were sitting behind a draftable guy last year and they were a backup, and this was going to be their year to, have the opportunity to start. And there's just no way to account for that. There's just not. So we're digging into those guys, as back when they were backups. But again, sometimes just guys don't have a lot of reps, and it's hard to get that. But we're going to do what we can do. And we can't be in schools this fall. We may be able to get to some games right now, it sounded like, but they're going to even limit game scouting. So, right now the schools are being good about setting up Zoom calls with all their coaches and support staff. And our scouting assistants are in the office this morning on with Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. So we're doing what we can do. And, we feel good about it. If we had to pick a roster today, I feel like we could do it based off the information we have. But again, you can never account for the guys that we're just kind of going to be, those 1-year wonder guys that just pop up like Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year or Joe Burrow. But we're making do it. We're making do with what we got.
Give us a behind the scenes look into the week of the Senior Bowl, things that people or myself may not know for us. You guys may be giving them information about finances or things to look out for going into the NFL or certain meetings they may have for us, interviews.
Yeah, man, there's a lot to the week. There's a lot to the week. It's a jam-packed week for the players. It's a hectic schedule. We put a lot of stress on the players, and that's by design, right? The NFL guys want to see what these guys like how they perform under that pressure and under that stress. So we do that kind of by design, and the cream rises to the top, through the week. You see guys, so they get into town and they go through registration, and we give them a full medical exam to make sure they're able to get on the field. They do all that. They do their Wonderlic testing down here. They do, we added some psychological testing over the last couple of years that they didn't do until they got to the combine, so they can knock some of that stuff off their plate for Indianapolis down here. So they have a little less hectic week when they get to Indy. They got to learn a playbook, and then they got to get on the field and execute that playbook. So the nice thing is with our staff, what makes our game a little different than the other games is that we've got a full NFL staffs come down here. Those are appointed by the league, and we start with the draft order. So they're coached by, 2 teams that are going to be picking up high in the draft. Last year it was Detroit and Cincinnati. So they go through the week through an NFL style meetings. They're being coached on the field by NFL coaches. And it's a jam-packed week, so we have the weigh-ins, which is a big deal. We get the verified height and weight information to the teams. The players, they do, like you talked about, the financial education. Morgan Stanley has been a huge partner for us over the years. I think they've been involved with the game for, going on 6-7 years now. They do a financial training seminar down here with the players, so they learn how to take care of their money. We bring in different speakers to kind of prep them for how to deal with the media. We bring in some former players that are group leaders during the week that, they've played in our game that help mentor these guys through the week. So these guys are around guys that have played in our game and played in the NFL, so they can, bounce questions off them through the week. So it's really, and then it caps it off. The last day is a really fun day. It's our community outreach day. We go to children's hospitals and we go to elementary schools, and these guys finally get to take the pads off and really exhale on Friday. And they need that. They go to the schools, they read to the children. Like I said, they go to the and it's really, to me, that's the most rewarding day. It's great to see those guys in that setting. And they really enjoy it as well, and then Saturday's obviously game day. That's when it all comes together. So it's a jam-packed week. It's an awesome week for the players. It's an awesome week for us and for the fans. I think one thing we haven't done a great job of here in the past is promoting our game to the fans, and that's really come clear to me just trying to reach out to, a lot of different blog sites over the last couple of years, is that I think the perception is this game is for the NFL and for the media, but to me, if I'm a fan, I want to be in Mobile because, you know, you have access to these players. I mean, you could have been in Mobile this year and grabbed Justin Herbert, you know, at the hotel and taken a selfie with him, and, you know, all these first round picks and high picks for, you know, out of all these schools. You know, you can walk up and down. Mobile's not a real big city now, and you can walk in and out of restaurants and bars, and, you know, go up to a bar and there's 3 head coaches sitting there having a beer together. You know, I mean, it's just the NFL. The NFL descends on Mobile for that week, and it's if I'm a football fan, I want to be here because, I mean, if I'm an NFL fan or a college fan, I mean, everyone's here. We had 41 college head coaches last year that come into town and see their guys perform at practice. So if you're a football fan, there's no better place to be. And we're trying to build this thing out. We had a free concert downtown Mobile last year with a rock band out of New Orleans, the Revivalists, which drew 15,000 people. We had a Mardi Gras parade with the players, and they were firing autograph footballs into the crowd. It was just it was the first year we did that, and it was an awesome event. The players loved it. So we're trying to build this thing out and really make it a bigger event. Again, for the fans, bring fans here because once they come, they'll always come back because it's that great of a week.
Well, Mr. Nagy, I want to thank you for coming on. And in closing, real quick, if you had anything or any announcement you would like to say to the people, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the floor to you.
I appreciate that. No big announcements. We're going to start inviting players. Here in the next couple months, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with these opt-out guys. You know, if they've already opted out of college football, we usually send the invites to the head coaches and we let them decide when they want to give them to their players. But we got to figure out with these guys that have already opted out of football, what we're going to do with these guys, because some of them are eligible to play in the game. So, just follow us on social media and we'll be inviting players. And like I said, if you can make the trip to Mobile in January, there's, hopefully a lot of this stuff's behind us. You know, we're always going to look out for the health of our players and do what's right with the COVID stuff. But hopefully our country's in a little different spot, in late January than we are right now. Hopefully, we're praying there's a vaccine and we're in a better spot. But, it's a great destination for fans. It really is. I mean, there's so much to the week. You can get right up on these players at practice and stand right next to these guys in drills that, these guys are the future of the NFL. So, we've had 40 players drafted in the first 3 rounds each of the last 2 years. And, this is the next wave of NFL stars. So if you want to have access to them and be right up next to them and kind of be immersed in the NFL culture for a week, this is a great spot to be.
Hey, I want to thank you again. We had he's the executive director for the Senior Bowl. He goes by the name of Jim Nagy. I'm telling y'all, this is special to us because this is the game of all games for us all-star wise. And to me, in my mind, no disrespect to the NFL, but I gotta put it over the Pro Bowl. Because there's so much that goes into it. I love the whole week. They televise the whole week on in the NFL network and basically ESPN too, because they're showing clips here and there. I'm talking about daily. And you hear daily reports of how guys doing, and they providing chances and giving opportunity to kids to live out their dream to make it to the NFL. And I just want to give a shout out to the whole city of Mobile, Alabama. I actually used to play there for Alabama State. We used to play a classic there in Mobile at Lad Pebble Stadium. And Mobile is, like he said, it's a great city, y'all. We used to have a chance to go visit a ship. They used to have a ship out there on the water in Mobile where you was able to go visit. And I'm telling y'all, it's a beautiful city, and it's a great game to just be a part of. Life in Football will be a part of this game. I don't know if it's going to be this upcoming January, but it's going to be soon. And I want to give a shout out again to Mr. Jim Nagy for coming on. I want to give a shout out to his wife, Miss Lindsay, and his kids, Hayden and Lillian. I hope I said that right. But I want to thank
you. Got it.
Okay. I want to thank you again for coming on. And I'm going to leave y'all like I always leave y'all. Keep your head up and not down, or else you'll fall to the ground. It's the Life of Football podcast. Catch you next time.
This is a new day to This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football.